It's your girl MC Nads, Planet Soca. Getting ready for our interview today with Paul Parris, representing Barbados. Hello, my friends. Make sure you share out the link. We're going to let the followers build up a little bit. Getting ready for Paul Parris. I keep saying it's an interview, but I think it's more of a conversation with Paul. Paul is my Instagram friend, so it's going to be kind of cool to have a conversation with him. And less interview, and kind of give you a 411 on who he is and what he does, and how he got to the Paul P project, which is pretty dope. If you haven't checked it out, all social media platforms. It dropped in the summer. It's pretty dope. What up? Pull the trigger, boom! Pick up yourself. I see him. All right, let's see.
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on, Nads? How you doing?
My friend. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm blessed. How you doing?
I'm good. It's nice to talk to you like this, finally.
Oh, finally, right? It's long overdue.
Let me just big up our sponsors before we get to our conversation. I was just telling people locked on that, we're social media friends. And I think you're right. I don't think this is an interview. I think it's a conversation.
Yeah, we can have a good conversation, talk some things.
Yeah, I think we're going to shoot some things, So let me just big up our sponsors, of course, DJ Simply Smooth, Mavert Customs, RiddimStream, big up yourself, Mr. Roots and Wiz Records, InVIBE Gear in Toronto, and Board Games in Toronto. So big up our sponsors sponsoring season 2 of The Zone. Right now on your screen, we have none other than Mr. Paul P. Parris representing Barbados. I gotta give you my horns. Where are you right now in the world?
Right now I'm in Delaware, actually.
Oh, you're in the United States.
So
that's why you're all bundled up, because I'm like, you're somewhere cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, but I'm getting ready to head back to Barbados real soon. So, I'm just excited about that. But yeah, right now I've been in Delaware, kind of hunkered down for the past couple months.
Yeah, how's it been over there with everything with the pandemic? I mean, I guess it's around the entire world.
Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely rough. But it is what it is at this point. We just gotta deal with it and adjust the best way as possible. So
yeah, for sure. So I want to start this conversation off by letting people know that definitely we're gonna get to your new projects, what you do as an entertainment manager. But for me, I have questions about how you even got here, and I think for me, because even when I was looking you up like I do all of my interviews, right? I'm like, yo, you can't find nothing on this man, But I was like, let me use, let me. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Am I there now?
Yeah, you're here.
We're good.
Yep.
So I was saying that when I was doing my research on you, right? Like every interview, I always look to see, where you guys started. And I know for you, some of your history is a little I can't find it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more about what you do in the business. So tell me how you got started in the entertainment world or the music world. When did this start for you?
Well, to be honest with you, it started when I was 16, right? I was reading through a Source magazine and I saw my cousin was in it. He had his 600 Benz and it was this article about his sound system or whatever. And at that time he was part of BIG's team and he had just discovered Foxy Brown. So that was kind of his entry into the game. And when I saw him, I was like, yo, that is something that I actually want to do. So I got through high school and I ended up interning for him and my other cousin, China, basically getting coffee and, Wendy's and all this other stuff. But it gave me an opportunity. I remember the first project that I worked on was Mary J. Blige's album. She had reunited with Puff Daddy and they were doing an album together. Yep. And, that was I was just kind of like a fly on the wall. And one day she asked me, what do you think about this? And I'm like, me? You're asking me my opinion? And yeah, so, then the album came out and she shouted me out in the credits and I was just like, yo, okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah, from there, I was knee deep in the hip hop and R&B world. I had a couple artists that were signed to labels and But for me, I always was missing that purpose because, you know, I love the music, but it wasn't embedded in me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got an opportunity to move back to Barbados, and I kind of fell in love with Caribbean music all over again.
Right.
So I worked on some marketing projects and stuff there. And then what happened was Ioctane, he was looking for new representation in the US. And a
Right.
friend of mine recommended me for it. And that was like, you know, 'cause I had to take a break from music for a while. But that was my reintroduction into music. And that was my introduction into Caribbean music in general.
Oh, so you fell back in love when you were doing the R&B and hip hop, and you were just like you're doing the interning, you're doing like the
Yeah.
the hustle and bustling work. Like, were you interested in writing them too at all, or was it just the management aspect
Yeah,
of it?
this was more like A&R stuff. One of the
Hmm.
projects that I worked on, I was working with a rapper. His name's Curtains, and he was signed to a label in LA. Like we moved out to LA, and you know we were living that record label life. You
Yeah,
know, we were living that life, and you know it was a rush, and it was something that as far as like helping write, like I always have my suggestions as far as like music go and lyrics and stuff like that, but it was never like, oh, I'm gonna start writing songs or producing songs or anything like that. It was more so
yeah,
of the final product or the final project. Um,
right. And the
so
marketing and stuff that goes behind
yeah,
that too.
marketing exactly. Like
Yeah.
that was when I really was like, okay, this is what I want to do, for
Hmm.
sure. You know what I mean? Because it went from interning to being an assistant to actually being an A&R manager. Um, and we had relative success, but as I
Yeah.
said, it didn't stick to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I was like super passionate about. Like even though like, I was hosting mixtapes and doing all these different things, but it wasn't. It just wasn't. It never felt like, okay, yeah, this is my life, and it
Right.
wasn't
And I get that.
until
Sometimes you have to go on the journey, maybe walk away a little bit, and then you come
yeah.
back and you're like, and I think it's timing. It's all about timing and being ready to
Oh,
receive.
absolutely,
You know what I
absolutely,
mean?
absolutely. Yeah.
I
So I
want to
mean,
know, did you ever go to school for any of this at all?
well, I went to school for international business, but it honestly like that. I learned everything that I've learned. I learned on the job. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all trial and error. Like, yeah, I've made some mistakes, I've made some errors, but that's all a part of the process. Um,
Yeah.
it's school can't prepare you for this. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are too many dynamics and too many different things happening to go by a book. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is trial and error and experience and having strong mentor relationships with people and having great relationships with people. Like that's what this is. You know what I mean? This is on the job training.
Yeah, for sure. And that I get because you can't, and nothing can really prepare you. School, I mean, I love school. I would never, if people want to go to school, great. You don't want to go to
Yeah.
school, great. But I think nothing can really prepare you for a job than having that actual experience. So I totally get that. When you went back, so you talk about managing iOctane. Was iOctane your first Caribbean type
Yes.
artist that you managed? It
Absolutely.
was.
100%.
How was that experience? How did
I,
that even happen?
all right. So yeah, it was a friend of mine. A friend of mine, Jamie from Black Magic Sound, big up Jamie. He linked me with Dev Cutter from Liberty Movements, and they were making some adjustments to the team, and they wanted to get a person on the ground, and my name came up. And when I met Octane, like I was, from the day we met, it was vibes, and we did some great work together, and to me it was a real eye opener because obviously like it is completely different from having your budget, your label budget, and having your that hip hop movement going. It was completely different. It was actually refreshing to see the independent grind. You know what I mean? And actually having to go like he was his biggest investor. So
Yeah,
it wasn't everything had to be precise. Everything had to make sense. Um,
yeah.
I got an
Every
opportunity to
move
understand.
had to really count.
Yeah, every move had to count. I got an opportunity to see how dancehall culture worked. I mean, for years, obviously we're all fans of the music, but it's not until you get in it and you realize like, oh, this is how it works. You know what I mean? Because I remember I used to always ask myself like, yo, why? why do they put out so much music? But in actuality, when you get in it, you realize like that's almost like survival. Because
Yeah.
in Jamaica and dancehall, like, it's all about relevancy, and the relevancy is the music that you have out there and being current in the streets. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But that was like my first time, like, we circled across the United States, a couple of times working on him. So that was my chance to really see what the diaspora was like.
Yeah.
Going into the cities with the Caribbean, with the strong, big Caribbean communities, and seeing how they operate, and getting to know people in that world. Like it was amazing. You know what I mean? And it was at a point when, he was on fire. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, Happy Time and Bust a Blank and all of these songs that was just hit
Just
after
popping
after.
off. His songs were major, major. Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up, that was like, he was the person that took me to Africa. You know what I mean? And I was like, this, our music and our culture can take us to the world and back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's obviously one of the highlights of my career so far, was having a chance to go to Gambia and working with
Wow.
him and seeing people's reaction and the love for him. I mean, it was.
What'd you guys do there? I mean, obviously he had a concert, but what
He had a
was like
show. He
your
had a
role
show at
in
a
that?
concert. So we actually had two shows. We were there for a while. We were there for about 5 or 6 days. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so we did like a tour. They took us around into the town or whatever, and you see people like chasing down the vine, and like it was like pandemonium. You know what I mean? And then like what I found about over there is like they're so into dancehall. Like it's insane. We actually
Yeah.
met a couple of people that called themselves IOCTANE. Like, yo, I'm IOCTANE. You know what I mean? So that was definitely crazy. So yeah, he had two shows. He had a show at a stadium. I think we probably had about 10,000 people there. And then the
Wow.
second day we did a smaller show that I think was about like 2,000 people.
Wow, that is an amazing, and all the way in Gambia. I can't even imagine that. When
Yeah.
you manage an artist, and we're gonna get to some of the people you manage now in recent times, and we'll talk about your Paul P project, which is amazing. I just think
Thank
it's too
you.
short, but I'm gonna get to that. When you're managing artists, is there anything you particularly look for yourself in order for you to really like feel like you guys vibe? Because I'm sure like connection is really important.
I mean,
If you
it's
can't
super
connect with your
important.
artist, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
super
Like if you guys
important.
don't connect, it won't work,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, managing the artist is, it's a real relationship. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
gonna be ups and downs and, triumphs and tribulations and all of these things. So you have to, you know, the most important thing that I find with artists is they have to, you know, with the artists that I'm working with now, it's kind of like we're partners. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they know what they want. They know exactly how they want to be perceived. They know the music they want to put out. And essentially, me and my team, we are facilitators for that. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So you have to, as an artist, you have to have a vision. You have to have an understanding. You have to be realistic about things.
Yeah.
Um, and you have to be, you have to want to make a relationship work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
And that makes sense. And that leads me to my next question. Even
right.
as somebody who manages artists, like, is there any kind of work ethic you specifically look for, or do you just you just vibe with it? You yourself, like, what is your own work ethic? Because people are different, right? And
Right.
how do you
Well,
find the happy medium?
well, that's that's the funny thing about that is anybody that works with me will tell you there is no happy medium with me. Like it is all in because this is our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what is going to feed our families. This is what is going to secure our futures. Like we can't. This isn't a game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anybody that I work with, they have to match they have to have the same intensity that I have, and my intensity is real high. Um, because especially working with Octane, that's something that that he taught me. It's no downtime, it's no off time, it's no relax time, it's no nothing because there are people that want your spot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there are people
Yeah.
the people that
Everybody's
are
hungry.
as much as we're looking to get to the top, there are people that are looking at where we are and saying they want to get there. So the
Yeah.
moment that you slip up or you think that you've arrived or whatever, that's when it goes down. That's when it goes
Yeah.
downhill from there. Um, so yeah, so I'm a workaholic. I mean, I work extremely hard because I know what it takes to be successful in this thing, and then that's exactly what it takes. It takes tenacity, it takes consistency, it takes persistence, it takes all of these things. And luckily those are all traits that I've been taught my whole career, and I'm only getting better. My team is only getting better. We're only getting stronger. So, I mean, I find that where we are right now is kind of like, we're in a sweet position.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? That's the kind of, any artist that's locked on, that's the kind of management team you want. Because if you're not hungry for it as an artist, then you're going to end up, your vibe you're going to put out there, you're going to end up linking with somebody who's not as hungry. If you have a manager who's hungry and you as an artist that's hungry, then it's only
Yeah.
great things that you're going to keep coming
All the
with
great
the
things,
bombs. But you're
I
only
mean,
going to get great things from that.
and I think especially in soca that you find a lot of management, a lot of teams don't get that recognition or, props that they should be getting, because, it's soca's not an easy genre to deal with. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not, it's like, if we're being brutally honest, like, it's not, like, it's a lot of money in it. It's a lot of times it's more passion than anything else. And we're all trying to figure out how to make the best business out of it. And it's still growing, even though it's been, there have been people before us and there are going to be people after us. Like, we're still trying to figure out our best how to monetize and expand it and push the limits and push the boundaries of it.
Yeah, as much as soca's been all around for so long, it's still, getting it and pushing it into that, even though internationally it's everywhere, but pushing it from that business perspective is still something that's in the works. I totally get that. I've had other artists say the same thing, but you know what? You keep going and you keep pushing, and that's the way, that's the way it's gonna go, right? I mean, soca music is so international now, which is good, and social media helps things too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think one of the things that definitely need to happen is we need to, the people on the business side of it need to make more moves together and communicate and network more. I consider myself relatively young in the soca business, and it's not like I have a lot of relationships with other management and stuff like that. Like, Sean is my guy from RiddimStream, and more or less that's pretty much where it stops. So I just think that there needs to be more, I don't even want to say unity, but just more communication.
Like a network?
Yeah,
more like a networking?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we are an industry, you know what I mean? Like, I remember, like, once again, I draw a reference to, like, the hip-hop community. Like, there were always these industry events where you would go and network and build with people and see people that are doing the same things that you're doing. But I find in soca, even in dancehall, is really not a thing. Like, there is an industry, but it's not like for lack of a better term, it's not a branded industry.
Yeah, and I get that. And maybe, especially with this pandemic, maybe that will change. I hope for more and better change, because we've all had to pivot in some way.
Pivot is the word of the year. Pivot is the word of the year, for sure.
For real, we're going to get to that. Hold your thought on that one. We're definitely going to get to that. I did want to acknowledge that I know that you are the entertainment manager for not only Just D, but Faya B, Faith Calendar, who's amazing. I love her. Grateful Co, and songwriter Pull the Trigger. So my question first to you, before I start getting to all these amazing artists, because I follow them, they're all wicked. What advice would you give somebody that's looking at you and thinking, I've always wanted to get into this. I don't know where to go, who to contact. What kind of advice would you give a beginner?
Don't think that it's a money pit. That's the first thing.
Say that again?
Don't think that it's a money pit. Don't think that this thing is like, you're gonna get into it and you're gonna make $1 million tomorrow, because it's just not going to happen. You have to have a passion for it. You know what I mean? You have to have belief in what you're doing. You have to understand that it's a process, as with anything. You know what I mean? You also have to understand that nobody owes you anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody owes you anything. Everything that you get out of this business, you're gonna have to fight for it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to be, once again, I keep saying this, you have to be consistent in whatever it is that you do to show that you're serious about this thing.
Yeah,
but the passion is the most important thing, because that's what drives everything.
And that's important, man. If a manager's not passionate, then where's it gonna go?
Yeah, it's not. It's
That's
yeah,
so key. So
for
let's
sure.
talk about, I'm gonna get into some of the artists that you manage. I want to talk about Just D first. Just D's awesome. I know
Yes,
he's got this song out that he put out earlier called Where I'm From to
yes,
represent Barbados. I
correct, correct.
wanted you to tell us a little bit about that song, how that makes you feel as a fellow Bajan, and
Right,
what you and Just D in general and the management team, what you guys hoped people would take from that song about Barbados.
right. So, I mean, one of the things that we found and traveling and stuff like that, and this is, I'll be frank, like I find that Barbados music and Barbados soca in general is kind of internationally is a bit on the decline. Um, there are numerous reasons for that, of course. One of the reasons I think is, as far as like the international DJ community, there isn't really a Bajan DJ in that circle or in that circle that's defending Bajan soca. You know what I mean? So I find that a lot of times the music that we release don't necessarily, a couple of songs will break through, but it won't have the presence of like, the Trini or the Grenadian market or the St. Lucia market and so on and so forth. Um,
Yeah.
so in having these discussions, we were like, we need to do something for Barbados and instill that sense of pride again amongst our people so that we would, we could raise our voice and say, nah, like, we gotta represent. Um, so when we decided to start working on the project, him, Dev Kata, and myself, we started working on the production and the concept and stuff like that. And then we actually got a grant from the NCF to put the project together, which is the National Cultural Foundation of Barbados.
Right.
So they gave us
Congrats on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So they gave us the opportunity. They partially funded the project as far as like the production, and then we have a video coming for it as well. Um, but from the time we finished the song, I mean, it makes me feel, it gives me that feeling of when I heard Rupees I'm a Pigeon, you know what I mean? And the countless other songs that represents us. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that in our journey that we had that in our catalog. It was very important because, especially with him, because when he bust with Nine, a lot of people didn't even realize he was from Barbados.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was important for us to circle back and make sure that we put that in the catalog.
Right.
And it's an amazing song. I listen to it every day. We have a video coming that's gonna be crazy for it. Really, really representing the island. So yeah, so everything is everything.
I love that. Somebody had said too, because I listened to it a few times, right? And Walk Up Productions, they've said that, the songs got the real Bayesian slang and the
Yeah,
references, and I love that because for
yeah,
somebody
what's
who
going
doesn't,
on?
right?
Yeah,
For somebody who doesn't like, you don't get to visit, a lot of Caribbean places. You're hearing this and you get the feel and the vibes. It's like, yes, I gotta go there. I gotta see
yeah,
this for myself. I gotta connect
exactly.
because Asian people are lovely. Y'all are just
Yeah,
so damn nice. Your
of
music
course,
is just so happy.
of course,
I just I love all the vibes.
especially
How long you've been managing Just D? Like when did you guys connect?
all right. Well, that was from the inception, to be honest. Um,
Nice.
so what happened was, so he used to go by Young D back in the day,
Hmm.
right? And I always remember the melodies in his songs. I might not have remembered the songs from back in the day, but always remember this melodies. I remember he was a crazy songwriter. So Octane was working on a project, and he was like, "Yo, I want to try something different. I want to look for some new sounds and some new vibes." And he just came in my mind. I mean, I haven't spoken to him in forever. I messaged him on Facebook, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on? I have an opportunity here for you." So he
Yeah.
was like, "Yo, that's great." Um, so he started doing up demos and sending them over. And my partner Dev was saying, he's like, "Yo, why don't he just sing these songs? Because like he's really good." Um, so when I approached him about it, he was like, he's not sure about the artist thing. He was kind of like, making waves in the songwriting and production world. And I told him, I was like, "Yo, I think you should give it a shot because you have a unique voice. You obviously have a style that is that is needed. It fills a void.
Yeah.
We should do this. So
Right.
that was 2000. That was 2015, 2016.
Wow.
Right. So the first song we put out was for Crop Over 2016. It was a song called "Give It to Me,"
Yep.
and it was actually produced by Drew Tobin from Guyana, right? And it was
Big
completely
up the
different.
Guyanese people. Top, top,
Yeah,
top.
they got the Guyanese crew. So it was a song that it got radio play, and it did get some play outside of Barbados. But
Mm-hmm.
once again, nobody knew who he was, and it wasn't getting like a real big push. But what I told him when we first started doing the music, I was like, "Yo, bro, we need 3 years to pull this off." You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's the next thing too with artists. But I keep saying it's also a process and a journey that you have to follow. So in 3 years, you have to give yourself at least 3 years to make a dent in this business, in my estimation.
Yeah.
Right. So 2016 was give it to me, and then we kept working throughout the year. We were working on projects. It's kind of like fine tuning stuff. So in 2017, that's when we had 2 songs. We had like probably the most generic soca song ever created. A song called "What I Love," and it was I love all the paint and powder, and I love this and I love that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm doing this just to do it. But this other song that we have right here, this is more me, and this is more where we want to go. But I'm not sure that people are ready for it. They're probably going to be more ready for this "What I Love" song. And the other song was Nine. And when Nine came out, like, I mean, to this day, like, it still amazes me how that song took off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like it got a lot of radio play in Barbados. But what happened, what we realized was like a lot of the DJs outside of Barbados started putting it on all their summer mixes. And this song is bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. We're getting calls for dub plates and all these other things.
Yeah.
And we were actually like, we should go to Miami with this one. We should pay for a ticket. We should go to Miami and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And we went
You
out
never
there.
know unless you try, right?
Yeah, we went out there, and Nine, I wouldn't call it. I mean, in my estimation, obviously it was his breakout song, but Nine just became a monster. You know what I mean? And he was known as that guy. So that was 2017, and then 2018 was that was his Jordan year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
when 2018 was the Jordan year. We had
Yeah.
Monica, we had Whole, and Only Thing She Know, and it was like, yo, I'm here.
That's it. You have to
So,
see me. I'm here. That's it. It's on.
yeah, I'm here. It's on. I mean, Manager to this day is his most streamed song. And we've been consistent ever since. I mean, he's just a different animal. Musically,
Yeah.
he's on a higher plane, and I just hope I'm able to help him to go as far as he could go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is one of those things that I'm always, it's a lot of pressure because I know how talented and how gifted he is.
Right.
And we're constantly trying to figure it out and trying to, maneuver around things. So, but, he's doing really well. This year, Boom Bang was another song. We put out an album like during the pandemic, which was crazy, but
I know, right? But it happened.
yeah, we had to do it. So Boom Bang, that's taken off from this year. We
Yep.
actually did a deal with VP. We had a song called Touch on the Soca Gold project. So, and right now he's actually reinventing himself as far as his sound goes. So the music that he got coming down the pipeline, I mean,
It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. It's like the
I can't
evolution
wait.
of Just D.
And he keeps evolving, and that's one of the things that I rate about him too, because he's just not sonically. He's never comfortable. Like it would have been
Yeah.
easy. It would have been easy for him to go sing, do Nine over or do Manager over, but he always wants to. He always wants to keep building and keep expanding this thing. He don't want to be known as being in a box or stuck in one thing. So that's why I give him his ratings. Because it is easy to just follow what has worked before.
Right.
But,
Big up
yeah,
Just D, boy. Big up
yeah,
Just
big up
D.
Justin. Yeah,
Big
big
up
bad
Just
artist.
D. So let's talk about you now a little bit more. The Paul P project, okay?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
dropped this project in May, and it has
yeah,
just been going. You've got
yeah.
3 of your artists on there: Fire B with Bend, Faith
Uh-huh.
Calendar, which we're gonna talk about, and her
Don't
Don't
break
Break
it.
Yet, because I saw that video. Child, whoo, girl, like I need to talk to her, okay?
Yeah,
And then
that's
you
a little
have
different.
you also
All
have
tech
All
and
Tech and
cherish.
Cherish, right? With Bring the
Yeah, bring the
Vibe.
vibe. Yep.
Okay, my first beef with you, let me tell you. I
Right.
wanted more music. What's wrong with you
Yeah.
guys? Give me some more.
So what happened with that project? That was actually a single for Fire B. So his song was done first. His song was so originally the rhythm was produced by Ibez and Satis. And Satis actually wrote Fire B's song on the rhythm, right? And
Ah,
when it was done, when they were working on it, I was like, yo, like it's a vibe. Like I love the chords, I love the keys on it, but
yeah.
I felt like it was missing. I felt like it was missing something. So I reached out to my guy Kai. Big up to DJ Kai. You know what I mean? He has this new
Yes,
project
DJ
out.
Kai is amazing. I
And
love DJ Kai.
big up Kai. So I reached out to Kai, and he actually changed up the drums and bass and percussion on it, and created what we have today. Um, so All Tech and Cherish. He actually Fire B voiced his song at All Tech Studio in Barbados, and I told him I was yo Tech, you should, you know, what I mean, you and Cherish should see if y'all come up with a vibe for it, and they did bring the vibes. And then you know, Faith and I have been friends for a while,
Right.
but we just never got an opportunity to really work together. But you know, she's somebody that you know I have high ratings for. So Pull the Trigger, who is also my business partner, um, we came up with the concept for her, and you know she wrote the song. And obviously, like this is it was a huge departure from what Faith has been known for. But
Right.
the song is so good, like I knew
It
it could
really
work.
is.
Yeah,
It
so
really, really is. It's such a great song. I was like, I had to keep listening to it, but then when I got the visuals for it, I was like,
yeah,
Lord have mercy.
yeah. It's a serious song. So, you know, when she heard it, she was a little hesitant at first because she was like, you know, people aren't going to know me for this. But I was telling her, I said, this is more who you are than material I've heard you put out before. It's more because Faith is a very real, like down to earth person. And I felt like before it was more, you know, it was too like her vibe was just too polished, and to me, it didn't really represent her. So I
Right.
felt like this song was the closest thing to actual representation to her. So we talked about it. We talked about it. With her song, if you listen, the production changed up a little bit too.
Hmm.
Big up to Barman. He added some additional keys to it, and yeah, and the Paul P project was born.
I love it. I love it. When you were doing, like, did you know when you did the first song, did you know you're like, yo, I'm gonna put this together and do a thing? Or was it just like you
It
said with the
just
story?
organically happened. To be honest with you, it just organically happened. Like it didn't even so. Yeah, it just happened because, like I said, it was 5B's tune, and when Kai like added the vibe to it, I was like, nah, this feel like a rhythm project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just, you know, I could have reached out to a bunch of people about it, but I had a very specific task with it and that's why 5B ended up using, yo, you gotta call it the Paul P project because this is your vision. So, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You did something that is different. You have 3 relatively new artists on a project, and
Yep.
um, you know, you pull it all together. So, you know, that's what you should call it. And I was like, I don't know, that seems a little vain, but you know, I guess, you know.
It wasn't. It was good. Like I think and I get it. Like big up to the 3 artists because and
Yeah,
big up to yourself for it because you took 3 relatively new artists and put them on
yeah,
this project. That
yeah,
alone amazed me as a fan, I guess because I'm also in this industry too and I'm like,
right.
yo, I got to big up Paul P for it because like, you know, I don't know a lot of people who would do that.
Yeah, and
You
we
know what I
went
mean?
hard with the promotion for it too. I mean, it was obviously like I felt one of the things that I felt happened this year was it was an opportunity to do something like this because there were so many people that were hesitant to release music, and I was like, nah.
Right.
It was never like, you know, we never had a doubt that we were coming strong as if it was a regular year.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, I think that also benefited because we, you know, a lot of our relationships and a lot of our network, especially with DJs. I mean, the DJs just took that project and ran with it, and I mean, DJs from everywhere. I got to big up DJ Kevin, Smarties, Dr. J in Toronto.
Oh, my Toronto people.
Yeah, the team Toronto went hard on it. I mean, I was getting videos from Israel and Panama and all these places that I'm like, yo, that's crazy for.
I played it on my show too,
Yeah,
because I work at Vibe, right? And
yeah,
Smarty does our music coordination, so we made sure that was playing on the
yeah,
daytime show too, man. We pushed that. It was so good. Let me just
yeah.
tell you.
So I definitely appreciate everybody for showing love on it. You know what I mean? And you know, we're of the belief we don't stop working on projects. That's why even though it came out in May, you're now going to see videos for it. Like, you know, we just dropped Space video for it. Got the internet in a frenzy.
Yep.
And when we go to Barbados, we're actually going to Barbados next month, and we're going to be shooting Quiet Beast video for it. Yeah, you know.
And I love that, eh? I love that you put out the music, let it sauce, let people play, let people hear
Yeah,
it. And now that you're giving us the visuals, like it's
yeah.
just bringing up all
Yeah,
those
play it
good
again.
feelings again.
Play it again.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
what,
Let's play it
that's the
again.
point.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about Faith's visual for Don't Break Yet? Like, can
Yeah, we
somebody tell me
can.
how the creation of this came together? Because you're saying
Listen,
this is more her, right?
I'm gonna be frank with you, right? Like, and this is why I was saying in the beginning that my relationships with these artists are more partnership. You see that video? That's all her.
Really?
That's all her. I mean,
Oh,
all Shana and I had to do was just facilitate and make sure that everything went cool. She did the treatment herself. I mean, when she sent the treatment over, she had the pictures,
woo.
she had the styling, I mean, literally everything in that video came out of her brain.
I
And
love it.
you know, and when she was telling me, you know, what she wanted to do and the vibe that she was going for, and she wanted to not do anything that was kind of typical, I was like, you know, I'm all for it. I'm gonna back you 100%. So
Absolutely, especially that you wanted her to display who she really is. So of course you're
exactly,
gonna support that
exactly.
vision.
So you know, when I remember when we got the first cut of it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a problem. This is gonna be a problem. And yeah, you know, it turned out to be a problem for sure. So you know, what I mean,
Yup.
big up to Chris Shot It, big up to Andre Clark, you know, for directing the video, and big up to
Yes.
Faith, because like I said, I mean, you know, she was everything on that video. She was the talent, she was the production manager, she co-directed it. I mean, she did everything. That is one of those things where I just can't take no credit for it. You know what I mean? All I can take
Okay.
credit for is being able to be a support system for her.
Yeah. Well, since you're part of her management team, and I'm putting it out there for Planet Soca and RiddimStream and
Yeah.
Mamoonies Entertainment, I need more female representation on this show,
Yeah.
and I'd like Faith to be the
We gotta
first person that I
damn
interview.
link up. Oh wait. Okay, that sounds like a plan.
But yeah,
That sounds like a
that's
plan.
putting it out there because I've already yelled at these guys like, bro, I'm the female host, and all I've been doing is interviewing mans them.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
start that
need
up.
women, but I have so
This and
like I
this
love
is
it's like
perfect. This is a perfect opportunity for her too, because I think that by especially this next upcoming week we're gonna see the views and stuff really go up on the video. So I think it'll be a good should be a good
this
first
would be a
opportunity.
great opportunity. She's an amazing artist that we play a lot in Toronto on Vibe as well, on my radio show, on all the other shows. So I'm so curious to find out her history as an artist. Yeah, just putting that out there so you know.
Yeah, simple thing. That's a simple thing.
I wanted you to share as a manager of art, like, do you have any favorite experience? I mean, so you talked about Gambia with iOctane, but with your three artists that you have now, do you have a favorite experience or experiences that stick out in your mind?
Yeah. Well, all right. So with Fire B, right? Um, Fire B is like before he became an artist, he's one of my closest friends, right? And he hates when I say this, but his artistry started as a joke. Like it was a joke thing because he's the guy that when we used to go to the carnivals, he is like, he got his shirt off and he's joking
Oh,
down
he's that
every
friend.
yeah, he's that guy. that guy. So one day he came to me. He was like, "Yo, I want to sing." I was like, "You want to sing? What? I sing what, dog? You ain't no singer." So he's like, "Nah, I'm serious." I was like, "All right, I guess." So, um, so Just D actually wrote his first song called Just Young Gal. And we put it out, and it was, it was a fun vibe, and it was, it was cool. But to me, it was still kind of like, we just doing this because, it's kind of like a joke thing. And then we did a song called Buckle that was written by Just D again, produced by Mista. And when we were working on it, I was like, wait a minute, this might be something. This is no longer a joke.
This is a real thing now.
This is a real thing. So we serviced Buckle. It started getting a lot of play, and we did like a promo tour for it and all of these things. And we worked really hard on the song. And then after about like 6 months, he started going out performing, and we started seeing all these women like not. I don't want to say they were freaking out, but they were into him, and they were into the song. And I was like, what is this? And then Royal G started doing it. She did a class to it. She started doing snaps to it. I'm like, what is going on here? This is not what we signed up for. And he did when the moment for me was he had opened up for Lil Rick. It was Lil Rick's first show back in New York after like 10 years. We had about like 2,500 people at the show. And when Fire Beat came on, the crowd went wild.
You're looking around like, what is happening here?
Dad looked at me, and we were like, yo, what is this? What is this that's going on here? So that was, and then he opened up for Marsville in Philly, and it was the same thing. And for me, that
a fan base, man.
He has a fan base. That is just the reality.
And a fan base he can take his shirt off for.
Yeah, well, we retired the shirt off thing for now, but yeah. So then he did Ben this year, and he is also, we put out the rhythm, the Inside Out rhythm. He had a song on there too. So that was one of my moments with him. With D, it was the same 2017 with Nine. He performed Nine at Lyrical and Friends in Miami. And people in the crowd were singing along, and I was like, yo, this is actually working. So for me, those are the moments. With Faith, it is this video, because I'm just so happy to see her come into herself in like a major way. There's no compromise with her anymore. Like, she is who she is. She's accepted everything about her, and the video is a complete representation of that. So,
I love that. It's like Faith has really just come into her own now.
Yeah, she's coming into her own. I mean, the funny thing about it is, like, she's coming into her own in a year like 2020. So you could imagine once things get back to normal, like, she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Hell yeah, she is. RiddimStream just joined. So I'm just telling RiddimStream, I don't want to interview any more men for season 3. Right. I want some females. So Faith is the first one I want.
Sham. Link up, Sham. Let's get this going.
Sham. Hook up the ting, Sham. Hook up the ting. Can you tell me a little bit about Altec and Cherish?
Right. So Altec and Cherish, they are, so I don't, we do work together, but I'm not part of their team. But Altec and Cherish are, when it comes to like the streets in Barbados, like they have a strong presence. They are the fabric of the streets, especially Cherish on the dancehall scene. She's like a female. When it comes to dancehall in Barbados, female wise, she's top tier. So they're just a musical family. It's kind of like an Ashford and Simpson type of vibe. So
it's funny you say that, because when I was checking out their stuff, I was like, yo, I kind of get that vibe from them. Like just the feeling or the way they work or the way I see them do their music together. Like I got that
Yeah.
vibe too. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah, so they're they're a family, and they've done soca music before, but this my project was it's not typical soca, so it gave artists the opportunity to kind of like free up and not necessarily
Yeah,
be on what your typical soca vibe is. So I
right,
felt like it was really good for them, and they absolutely delivered on it. You know, what I mean,
right.
they completed the rhythm for sure.
And that's why I like that you called it the Paul P project because you didn't pigeonhole it into a genre.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
That was
yeah.
smart too. So I
Thank you.
have to ask, what can we expect from you, coming from you and your team,
Right.
as we go into the new year? Because obviously we talked about the pandemic. This year's been crazy, but you've still been able to work. So what do you
Right.
got coming for the new year, or what
I
can we
mean,
expect?
more music. You know what I mean? Like, Grateful Cole was somebody that I'm super excited about. We worked last year. It was the first time that we worked together on. We did a video for Do Ting, which was his song. The song was very popular in Barbados. Um, this year, Pull the Trigger wrote a song for him on the first Kiss Rhythm.
Hmm.
Called Fall in Love. We actually did a video and stuff for it. So I'm really excited to see where he goes.
Yeah.
Um, And then as far as D, like I said, we're in studio on now, kind of like refining his sound and coming up with some new vibes.
Right.
With Fire B, we're shooting videos. We actually I have a project, I have a written project that's done already. With Fire B, Lead Pipe and Satis and Jaguar. Called The Rich and Happy. You're getting to hear you're here to hear first. Um,
Yay! Breaking
so,
news.
so yeah, so the Rich and Happy Rhythm is the project we got coming.
Add
Um,
me to your mailing list.
Done deal, done deal. Um, Just D has a rhythm project that's already done that we're gonna be releasing. So it's more music, it's more visuals, it's just more vibes, more energy. We're gonna be doing more shows. That's something that I'm very big on, like being self-sustained. So we'll be doing some more shows and stuff in Barbados, and just working. You know what I mean, like just
Yeah.
once again and being consistent with what we're doing. I think that we had a very solid 2020. It's funny to
I
say
know,
that
despite everything, right?
despite everything, like, we actually expanded this year. We did more work. We did more work in 2020 than we did in 2019. I mean,
Yeah.
D had his funk bass rhythm with Mike E and Cooper Dan. Um, we had a dancehall rhythm called the Perfect Rhythm that came out.
Mm-hmm.
iWeb is on that funk bass rhythm too. We had the Inside Out rhythm, which is, you know, has done really, really well for us. So
Yeah.
next year is, we're gonna double up on everything. We're gonna
Yeah.
double up on the music, we're gonna double up on the visuals, we're gonna double up on the presence. We're just gonna double up on everything.
Yeah. Welcome Productions is right. You got to keep up the consistent hustle. That is
Yeah,
what it
got it,
is, and
Brian.
we love it.
I gotta big up Drew too. Big up to Ricardo Drew. I had an opportunity to work with him this summer on the Homesick project. Um,
Yeah.
And that was, big up RiddimStream, big up Sharon. That was also like a great experience for me. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing some more work with I'll be doing some more work with Drew and RiddimStream coming up. As Sham always says, they like me because I have that we're gonna be big energy, and it's true because it's only it's gonna get bigger and better from here. Yes.
Yeah. Only bigger and better. Sham said to tell you, double up on your 5G, eh?
I mean, what happened here? They go in and out or something?
I think it's just a little like, I know for me, sometimes it shows a little blurry and then sometimes it shows clear for
Oh,
people. So that's okay. We still got content and we have conversation. People can listen. They don't need to watch. That's
correct.
all. So tell people where they
Sham is such
can.
a troll. Sham is such a troll here.
I know, I know he is. I love it. Big up Sham and RiddimStream. Thank you, Paul, for being here. I love
Yeah, thank
this.
you. I
It was like
appreciate
such
you.
great conversation. Can you remind people where they can check you out on all social media platforms?
We're on all social media. It's Paul Paul_Parris. Make sure
Yes,
y'all check
Paris
out
is 2 R's.
2 R's. 2 R's, people. You can check out Justy. I am Justy, Jusd. Fire B is FIYAH_B. Make sure you check out Grateful Cole. And of course, check out Faith Calendar. And make sure you go check out her video for Don't Break Yet. You know what I mean?
The thing hot.
Yeah, up.
The video make me sweat, okay? I'm like, ooh, child, that girl is fine. If I swung on the other side of the tree, I want her to look like Faith. I'm just saying.
Hello. Hello.
Paul, thank you so much. I am so glad we got this opportunity to talk. Not interview, but talk. Yeah. And you're going to have to add me to your mailing list because I need to know. I want to follow up. Sham knows the deal. He's trolling right now, but he knows the deal. And I need to interview Faith for season 3.
Done deal. I
needed to. Season 3, I'm putting it out there now for Planet Soca and RiddimStream, has to be an all-female cast. That's it.
Listen, you got to interview Pull the Trigger too.
Yes, I want to. I saw her in here earlier. Pull the trigger, big up yourself. I shouted her out at the beginning before you logged on. I also want to interview her as well.
Absolutely. Done deal.
Those are the first 2. Paul, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm glad now. I'm glad we're more than social media friends now. This is dope. Thank you so much for being here.
Big up Mole. Big up Mole. The future king of Bashman Soca of Barbados.
Big up Mole. Another one for me to watch out that you need to send to me.
Yeah, done deal. Absolutely. All right,
thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Season 2. Episode 2 of The Zone, Paul P. Parris. Don't forget to check out the Paul P. Project. You can get it on all social media platforms. Check out all the dope artists he's connected with and that they are putting out music. It's so damn good. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Have yourself a good day. Stay safe.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye. That's it. I know the video was a little pixelated, but you get the drift. You heard the content. Paul Parris, big up yourself. That was episode 2, season 2 of The Zone. Next week is episode 3. You got to wait for during the week when we announce that artist. It's going to be big. We also have a giveaway coming this season. Sham, big up your damn self. Season 3 is going to be all female. Adam business. I'm just telling you. I am your girl, Nads. I'm so glad to be here, and I will catch y'all next week when we do episode 3. Thanks for tuning in.